Today I want to get into Jimin saying that music is very difficult to make lately, and especially this new album. I wanted to get into Jimin's album being accused of chart manipulation and the craziness surrounding that. And then we need to talk about Jimin snapping and show a different side of him. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hate it or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, hey Spilling Mug merch, and let's go. We need to talk about sweet old Jimin on M Countdown. He recently released his album Face and a couple of new singles to go along with it. Jimin's lead single is Like Crazy, and the song has gotten everyone crazy, including myself. I do react to the music video and some live performances, and I will be reacting to more performances over on Patreon. I will link that below. It's very sexy and sensual, the song takes you to another world, and his voice is so unique and it's a whole other vibe when it's live. There is a limited $1 tier if you're interested in joining. Hope to see you there. Jimin puts on a character when he performs this song because, as I said, it is very sexy. And the dancing has a lot of touching, and Jimin is giving face, like the album title. People were very surprised at the duality that Jimin can give. So we see his face during the song and the performance, and then Jimin actually won an award and had to give a speech. His face turned from sexy and serious to a more shy and cute reaction, and ARMYs couldn't get enough of this. Jimin talked about how he was so shy to accept the award without his other members, and I can definitely imagine how strange that must have felt for him to accept an award without the other boys, since this is the first time he's done that. And Jimin usually isn't the one to give the speech. It's either RM, sometimes J-Hope, and not the younger members usually. So Jimin is definitely not used to giving speeches and standing in the front when accepting. Jimin did continue to talk about how much he appreciated the award and thanked ARMY's producers, staff, and BTS. And similar to what a lot of K-pop idols say when they win an award, is they like to make sure people know that they're not going to get lazy once getting an award or milestone. But an award or milestone should be a sign that people are supporting them and that you need to work harder. You don't want to let the people who put in all this effort to support you to see you get lazy. But going back to the duality of Jimin, I think people were getting at how talented Jimin must be in order to be able to change up like that. I would imagine when creating an album or piece of art with different emotions in there, it can be tough to amp up certain emotions for theatrical purposes. So you might write a song about being sad, but music and pop music inherently is very dramatic, and so you need to amp up that sad side even if it's not exactly how you feel. Same goes with a more sexy song. So the fact that Jimin was able to embody this and really pull it off shows how talented he is as an actor as well. People were basically saying that Jimin snapped during the performance, as we have mostly seen Jimin as the bubbly, timid version of him, so he definitely did snap to turn into this other more serious person while performing like crazy. Creating these songs, as I said, is very interesting because you need to find that side of you that maybe you tucked away, and you really need to do that. That makes the music so much more relatable and real. People don't want to hear music that is very surface level and just with fake emotions. There's a reason why all the songs on the radio lately are sad. It's because people want music they can relate to, and everyone is sad lately. And can you blame anyone? Given how the world is right now, I'm sad too. But Jimin did struggle a lot creating Face, and it was very interesting to hear him talk about it a little bit more. Recently, he did an interview with Da magazine, and they asked him a bunch of really good questions. Written interviews for magazines are really good. I think most people prefer a video interview, but magazine interviews can be more real. It's done in many different ways. It can either be the journalist comes and meets you and records the interview as you speak, or it's sent to the artist and they just write in the answers. This is better as the artist will have more time to think about the answer and answer the question more honestly and well thought out, as opposed to them needing to give an answer right away, and oftentimes a generic one because they can't think of how they actually feel and because they're live on TV or whatever. One question that was asked and very interesting was when Dumplings magazine brought up an older interview that Jimin did with Weverse magazine. Jimin mentioned that one of his goals was to work more closely with his producer. This doesn't necessarily mean he wanted to produce, but just be more close with the process, understanding and learning everything. Usually an artist will just get a beat and then work with that, and maybe they don't have much input, especially as they are younger artists. As you get to veteran status, you want to be more in control of the music, and you also know what it is that people like to listen to. So Jimin was definitely more able to do that with this new album and really suggest new things and try new things. Jimin was reminded how fun it was to work with the BTS members and finally understood why things were done that way. Obviously, you have members like RM who writes most of the lyrics, and then Suga helps with producing. So a lot of that stuff was really laid out for Jimin, and he didn't really have to think about it too much. But now he understands why RM or Suga might have gone this direction with the song rather than the other direction. Things like that. And then Jimin also expressed that it has been very difficult and hard for him to translate the music lyrics from his heart, his emotion, onto a song. And this is something he finds not to be too fun at times, and maybe even makes him feel done with music. I don't know entirely. But I can imagine that being quite frustrating when you don't feel you can express those emotions properly. I can imagine a lot of those emotions are very much tied to how he experiences life because of his career. I would imagine it's very hard for him to connect to the average person, and so he has to take his experiences as an artist and see how to connect those experiences with things we can all relate to. And so for an artist to have time and do normal things, this is why it's so important. Because how can you take a moment where you're getting death threats and you're walking around with a bodyguard and then go and try to write lyrics that relate to other people? You can't, because no one will relate to that. And the industry rips artists apart so much. Recently, the album Face got a bit of backlash, and the backlash is falling on the artists, and I don't think it should. Recently, there's been accusations of chart manipulation, and this is nothing new for BTS. BTS even many years ago was accused of this when they had first started, but they were getting all these record sales. They were allegedly beating artists like Big Bang that were high on the charts, and people thought it didn't make sense. However, having high fan loyalty and people constantly streaming their music should not be something that is taken as chart manipulation, but simply the goal of an artist. People like to investigate other people who are doing well or having success because they can't possibly believe that another would be successful without trickery. The Korean word for chart manipulation is called Sajaegi, so if you see that word, that's what it means. The way it can often appear like chart manipulation is because of mass streaming and mass people buying albums. This is a common problem within K-pop, but not a bad thing. Labels typically want people to buy even more albums, even if it doesn't rank on specific charts. Of course, the label would want to make money. Now, giving a bit more context to chart manipulation, in Korea, it's a very interesting black hole. There's a third-party company that labels can hire to literally create chart manipulations. And I am not familiar with their tactics, but this is something that people with money can do. Labels have been accused of buying thousands and thousands of albums in the first week to inflate those numbers, especially if it's from a big artist group. It won't look suspicious, and the label can get away with hiring a third party to do chart manipulation because we tend to expect artists from a big label to rank high anyway. However, going back to BTS, Big Hit did come out and deny those allegations made at that time because they simply did not do chart manipulation, and it was also proven they didn't have the resources to even go about hiring a third party to do it, since they were so small. Chart manipulation in Korea is illegal, and you can face fines and several of these things. In America, I don't think it's as big of a deal. American artists do chart manipulation all the time. But the reason it's a big deal over there is because the music charts are managed by the cultural ministry, so it's a government thing there. Also, on another note, for a label to do this, I don't understand it. If the artist is not showing that they can sell without all these tactics, then do you really want to throw more money into them? If their album couldn't even get to the top charts without these tactics, then fans aren't buying it, meaning even if it was on the top, people still won't buy it. So what is even the point of ranking that high? Back to Face, the chart Hanteo is a chart company in Korea, and they manage the sales and all that over there. There were some issues with Jimin's sales. It's believed that the site updates in fairly real time. I don't know how that's possible. But people were upset because it appeared like Jimin's sales numbers were stuck even after 6 hours. This to show that the sales had completely stopped, which of course would seem weird given all the news coverage around his album being highly sold. Even if the sales had dropped, people who had read the news articles would no doubt have sold a few more. So to see it not selling at all is weird. Armies later discovered that Jimin actually sold 1.75 million albums, but the site did not reflect that either. Because if the charts are reflecting a lower number, are the higher numbers fake and manipulated? So people were wondering about that. However, I've read this a lot and it just seems like an error on their site and not really an issue people should think too much into. I don't think there's any reason at all for Jimin or the label to do this. And there's tons of Jimin solo fans that will buy 1,000 albums. So please stop. Chart sites can also make mistakes. It's not ever that serious. And these accusations are accusing an artist of a crime. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thank you to this lovely commentator. Love you. Bye.